Average at Best Cornhole here. We're back at it with some fly cornhole bags. We have these new for the 2025 revamped Surge X bags and some Banshees that we're going to compare it to because they're both kind of fast bags. Now, we've actually had both these series since they launched back in August for this 2025 stamp, but it's been summer up here in Ohio, and we really could not get a hang on these Banshees, and the speed consistency was just crazy. So we kind of been putting this off, but here we are, and we're still too not impressed with those Banshees.
Yep, and we'll tell you why. All right, into our baggage, and with the speeds on the Banshees, we do have a 9.6, and then on the Surge X, we do have the 9 on that fast side, as well as a 6.5 to a 7 is, what everybody seems to be rating this newer carpet that we keep seeing that we call the Charmin carpet. And to me, it may start off, in that higher range, but it slows down to, a solid 6, maybe a little less sometimes, but it's definitely faster than, the typical speeds we see of like an R carpet or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to the materials, and like Justin stated, this is that Charmin hybrid that we're starting to see pop up on a lot of bags. And then the fast side on it, that's that other 9-speed fast side that's actually getting popular too. So Big Mac bags, whatever, and then Cornhole Coastal Icon, same materials on this bag. But this bag is like kind of right in the middle of those two series, if you're familiar with them. Talking about size and flop. The Banshee, now this is a Pro Sniper variant. So it's got that 6-speed slow side that everybody's familiar with. These ones seem super waxy, though, the whole time. And a little bit more stickier than what we're used to with that fabric for some reason.
Template on these, the Surge X is a medium to a medium large, we think. We do believe that it stretched a little bit. That softer carpet does seem to want to stretch, and the Banshee is just your basic medium template.
And that leads us to fill and flop. And as far as fullness, these Banshees, that's what was so different about this bag, is it seems a little bit more fuller than most other bags with that fabric combination. And then the Surge X, it is pretty full, but it's also pretty floppy too, if that makes sense. It's like right in that sweet spot, It is a really, really good hand fill, especially with the real soft, slow side, and then this fast side is super soft too. And then as far as the fill, the Surge X, I believe it's primarily a lot of flat fill, but there is some beads in there too. And this bag was a little bit active, so that definitely confirms that there's beads in there. And then the Banshee, it's kind of basically the same thing. There's a lot of flats in this, but you can definitely feel some beads in there too.
Forgiveness on these. The Surge X, for being such an active bag, it still has quite a good amount of forgiveness to it. I was pretty surprised with it.
Yeah, I thought it landed pretty flat and, slid straight. Most of the time it did kick a little bit, but I had some crazy cuts with this bag. Especially one day. It must have been just really playing good that day, but that thing was taking some hard turns. So it's an active bag. Probably a little bit more of an active bag than a forgiving bag, but that material is forgiving.
And the Banshees, that came in, I was actually expecting that to be a pretty forgiving bag, and I struggled with it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a fill or
could be the fill, or just I felt like the speed that the bags were running up the board just wasn't consistent at all, and I was really struggling. Now, the last time I did throw these, we were outdoors. It was some humidity was setting in, so I was dealing with some variations there, but still, it challenged me quite a bit that day.
Yeah, but it didn't even seem consistent from bag to bag for some reason, and then that makes it hard because then you don't know how much spin to put on it, or what you can't really fix it. So it was all over the place.
It was, and the other variations of this bag that we've covered and stuff, I didn't have that experience. I found them to be very fast, very consistent with what they were doing, and this one just played a lot different for us.
We'll move on to whole bodiness and the Surge X. Yes, it is a very hole-friendly bag, I thought, with the round beads in there and that fast hybrid slow side. I found it, falling in the hole quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel the same. That's a very, whole bodiness bag, very hole-friendly, dripped well. The Banshees, I'm not going to say the same for, and exact opposite. To me, it didn't have great whole bodiness at all. I was plugging holes and struggling to find the speeds, even just sliding up and getting that one that just drips in the front of the hole. I just couldn't get it to do it.
Collectibility, and I'll take the Banshees. If you hit your spot, if you were right on, yes, that thing had no problem at all collecting. I did find myself sometimes, like we're saying, that varying speed. if it was playing a little bit faster, sometimes you would blow by your collect on accident, which kind of stunk. But other than that, I mean, it collected pretty good.
And the Surge X, I mean, it's right in that sweet spot, you know, with not only the fullness we said, but that adds to its collectability. We had no problems collecting with that bag, even ones that you just maybe hit off a little center. They still kind of just bunched up and collected together very well.
Yeah, and it is a faster bag too, so it's not too often you got bags, you know, laying out front. But if they were there, I mean, it was fairly easy to collect them. Capable shots and Surge X, I mean, it's going to be a hole runner, right? But you're going to be able to make some crazy cuts with it, or at least I was. So I would think that. I don't know how much of a dirty style game you're going to want to play with that bag. I don't think it's made for that. I literally think you're just trying to run holes and, you know, get around stuff with it.
Yeah, and the Banshee, I mean, there's a lot of capabilities with it, but one thing I'll say, it depends on where you're playing and what the humidity is. I mean, if you're outdoors and there's a little humidity, then this is going to be a great bag for a dirty game. You know, if you're indoors and there's no humidity, everything's completely dry and stuff, it's going to be a great bag to, you know, just run holes with. So there's a lot of versatility in that, but I think the conditions are really going to determine what that bag's capable of. All right, just some company information. These guys are super easy to find. It's just flycornhole.com, and then they do have a Facebook page that's also at flycornhole. Didn't really see a whole lot of fan pages or anything out there, so they may exist. May have to do a little digging, but they're pretty readily available to find information and check them out.
Yeah, we'll move on to designs and availability, and so far still for this season, Fly's kind of lacking in designs, if you ask me. I mean, they only have a couple designs and colorways for each bag series up on their website, but maybe they're going to get to it, you know, because I do remember seeing other Fly cornhole designs. And then availability, I've checked and they weren't available, but then I've checked and they are available. So small company like that, maybe they don't want to list them or get overrun, or they take enough orders that they know they can complete. So they pause their ordering for a little bit to make sure that they get bags out to you in a timely manner. So we'll jump into cost, and you know, maybe the Surge X, both bags are listed $100. I don't see a discount code available. I did look. I don't think they have some. Little bit. I mean, I know we always say we like to be under that $100 range, but you know, now you're right there. And I did really like the Surge X, so I do think that's worth it for that cost. But the Banshee, I can't see spending that kind of money on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many, you know, variations or something close to that from, you know, much smaller companies for half that price or less. And, you know, for what we experience with the bags and stuff like that, if you're looking to try a bag like that, maybe look at one of the different alternatives first. And if you really like it, you know, then maybe pull the trigger on the fly.
So our overall thoughts on these bags and the Banshee, I mean, been throwing them all summer. Now we're in the fall. I just couldn't get the hang of that bag for some reason. I don't know what it is. The Surge X, though, however, I mean, I really like that bag, and I chose to throw it, you know, on multiple occasions when we were doing tournaments or whatever, just because it is a great bag. I mean, it's fast. Like I said, you can run holes with it, but still, you know, get those really good cuts with it.
The Banshee, you know, overall, kind of what Craig said. The one thing I would say, and if I ever recommended that bag, is if, you know, you're playing in, you know, outdoors a lot and you're looking for a good blocker bag. Like, that's when I would recommend that. If you're, you know, playing the same opponents all the time and you got a guy you got to block, you know, and you're playing outside and the boards are a little sticky, that's going to be your guy, because you're going to be able to put up a consistent blocker without any issues, with a good chance of collecting it. Again, I'm going to echo what Craig said. The Surge X is a pretty awesome bag. I would have no problem grabbing that at any point. It pretty much has all the capabilities, at least for the shots that I know how to make, and it's very consistent. I like it.
So why would I recommend these bags too? I think that if you need an ACL stamp and you really, really like this Charmin Hybrid, this is a great choice, because it's definitely my favorite ACL stamp bag with that material on it. And then the Banshees, I would recommend them if that's your everyday bag and you have a chance to get them way more broken in and soft and getting, you know, most of that wax off. It probably turns out to be a pretty good bag. And then they are interchangeable too, because of the speeds, which is neat. I know he's mentioned a lot of times you go outside and it's stickier and you can play blockers with it. But if you don't want to, play the Banshees indoors, because the Surge X are, you know, kind of a little faster than that indoors. So maybe you got an indoor bag and an outdoor bag.
Good way to go. Hey, if you're going to be average at something, be average at cornhole.